Hi everyone, this is Jo, your online Feng Shui consultant, and welcome to my video all about the different ways that Feng Shui can help you in different areas of your life. I like to think of Feng Shui as a way that we can take control of our lives by altering the energy that surrounds us, either in the space in which we live or the space in which we work, or ideally both. Now, that might sound a little bit weird if you're new to Feng Shui, but I like to think of the energy around us as being a little bit like the wind when we're out in nature. When we're going for a walk, we can't actually see the wind, but we can see and feel the evidence of the wind all around us. So if there's a breeze, we can see the leaves rustling on the trees, we can see the blades of grass moving, we can see the flowers moving, and if we're near water, we can often see ripples on the water if the breeze is strong enough. If there's a wind or a really strong wind, then we can see evidence not just of the wind moving, but of the wind causing physical changes around us, blowing trees down, creating huge waves that can cause damage to buildings and to the nature around us. So I like to liken Feng Shui to that kind of energy. We can't see it, but we can alter it by harnessing the energy that surrounds us in our living and our working spaces. So I hope that will make sense to you. So there are various different ways that you can use Feng Shui to enhance different areas of your life. Now, one really easy first step that everybody can take, and it's completely free, is to declutter big time. And I don't just mean all the surface clutter that you may have in your home or workspace, but also in drawers, cupboards, wardrobes, lofts, garages, garden sheds, and basements. Any of the area that surrounds you is affecting you. And in Feng Shui, clutter is considered to be stale, stagnant energy. And you want the energy to flow through your life so that you can bring all good things to you. So that a very, very good first step is to have a big declutter. And the next is to then spring clean your living or working space and have a really good tidy up. So that's an easy first step that everybody can take. Now, that can be quite challenging for some people because some people like to collect things, they like to hoard things, and they feel safe keeping things around them that they've had for many, many years. I can completely understand that. But if you're finding that your life isn't flowing as you'd like it to, if you find that you're not attracting the kind of things that you want in your life, whether it be a partner, whether it be a promotion at work, a new job opportunity, new friends, travel, creativity, or more abundance, or other things beside those, then it's a good idea to look at whether you might tune into your own living space and feel that you could be blocking the flow of good things into your life by hanging on to things that are creating stale energy and perhaps that no longer serve you and hold you back in the past. So that's a really good first step before we move on to the next point of how you can help your Feng Shui. Now, if you're not sure whether decluttering and tidying up and really spring cleaning your home will make you feel any better, I'd like you to think about walking into, for example, a hotel. Let's say you've booked to go away for a weekend, it's a special occasion, you've booked it online, and you've taken pot luck that the hotel you've chosen will be great. Now, I want you to imagine that you arrive at the hotel full of excitement about your weekend away, and you walk into the foyer of the hotel, and you notice that there's lots of litter outside and inside the entrance of the hotel. The wind's blown in lots of leaves and litter, and you look across to the reception desk, and the lights are really dim, and it looks like there's dead plants on the reception desk, well, certainly in the process of dying, and everything just looks really dull and dingy. Now, I want you to think about the effect that's going to have on how you feel. Now, when you think about the fact that you're just arriving at a hotel where you're going to be staying very temporarily, but you're seeing this hotel for the first time, and so it's having quite a big impact. When you're living in your home for many, many years, in many cases, we often become blind to what's surrounding us. We get used to how things are, and we're not seeing it through fresh eyes. But I now want you to imagine that you arrive at that hotel on a completely different day, and you walk in and there's no debris and litter at the entrance. There are bright lights over the reception area, and there are fresh vases of beautiful flowers greeting you, and everything is very uplifting. Now imagine how that then makes you feel at the start of your weekend away. I should imagine it's going to make you feel vibrant, energized and happy, whereas in the other scenario, I should imagine it would be quite depressing and have quite a down effect on your mood. So that just goes to show how our environment can affect us. So imagine now, no matter what state your home is in, it may be that you already live in a super clean, tidy place. But if you don't, you can now imagine the effect that your home is having you on every day, and how you can improve the effect it's having on you simply by decluttering, tidying and cleaning it and keeping it that way as much as you possibly can. So I hope that demonstrates the impact that just that simple thing will have on your feng shui. And that's before we move on to the slightly more complicated aspect of feng shui, where we look at the bagua and the way that different areas of your home or workspace are affecting different areas of your life. Now, another really important area to look at with feng shui is actually the shape of your property. Now, you might be fortunate enough to live in a square or rectangular shaped property. In other words, it's a solid shape. But many, many people around the world live in irregular shaped properties. So let's say, for example, your home is L-shaped. Depending on the shape of the L, based on the shape of your property, there's a missing area. And that missing area is going to be falling in some part of the bagua map, which is going to be affecting that part of your life. So for example, let's say the missing area is in your relationships corner, and that's very common in L-shaped houses. Now that means that as long as you live in that property, you might have been experiencing problems in your relationships area. It may simply be that you feel very lonely in that property. Now, unless you live in an apartment which is above ground floor, there are some very simple ways to counteract this. So like I was saying earlier, usually, no matter what the problem is, there are ways of counteracting it. And this is something, again, that I look at with my online consultations. But basically, you need to find ways to square off the property. And you can do this externally if you've got some garden area. But if you're in an apartment and you don't have any outside space, then by the clever use of mirrors, you can help to minimize this missing area. So looking at the shape of the property is a really, really important area of feng shui if you live in an irregular shaped property. Another area to look at in feng shui is the kind of furnishings that you have. And that includes the drapes at the windows, the bed coverings, the patterns on the sofa or throws on the sofa, the colours of the carpets, pictures on the walls and ornaments. All of these things also impact us in feng shui for better or worse. And again, we can make sometimes just some really simple changes and it can have a really big impact. For example, going back to the relationships area, if you're a person who's single but you're really wanting to be in a relationship, but maybe you've been struggling, have a look at your relationship sector based on the bagua map that I mentioned earlier. Now, do you have any pictures on the walls of single items or single people? For example, you might have a picture of a person walking along a beach, but it's a person on their own. Or you might have a painting of a single tree, for example, or a single building. Now, in feng shui, it's important that in the relationship sector, we have items that are in pairs. So something you can do is replace that picture of that single solitary item with a picture of, for example, a couple walking along a beach, or two trees that are sort of entwined together, not two trees that are, hugely separate in the picture. So everything in pairs in the relationships corner, but you don't need to go overboard. Just make sure that you don't have anything that's particularly large and significant in the relationships corner that's just a single item. So this is a whole other area of Feng Shui that we can look at, all of those items and furnishings within the home. And I look at the colours, the patterns, and just the energy that these different things give off. So this is a really interesting aspect of Feng Shui as well, and one that it's super easy to make improvements in. Now, another way that we can use Feng Shui to help us in our lives is to look at our furniture placement. So typically in most homes, the most important furniture items will be our beds, our sofas, and our dining tables. And if you work from home, then obviously you can include the desk that you have in your home office if you have a separate space, or wherever you've situated your office desk, that is also a really important piece of furniture. So according to Feng Shui guidelines, the way our furniture is arranged will affect the flow of energy through our homes, and therefore it will affect different areas of our lives depending on where those items of furniture are situated. It's really important to avoid blocking the flow of energy with big pieces of furniture. So they need to be positioned in such a way that they are contained, that they are not blocking entrances and exits, they're not blocking your footpath through your property, but also it's important that you position your furniture so that you are in the command position in any given room. So I'm going to be showing you via my website, and I'll put a link below this video to the pages that you need to look at to show the kind of positions that give you the command positions in any room in your home. So furniture placement is really, really important. Now, yet another aspect of Feng Shui is to look at the lighting within your home. Dim lighting is generally not very good Feng Shui unless it's in the bedroom. You want your bedroom to be nice and yin, in other words, very calming, very peaceful. Bright light tends to energize. So bright light is good in the rest of your home, but it's perfectly acceptable to have dimmer lighting in the bedroom. But lighting is really important in Feng Shui. It can raise the energy in an area of your home that perhaps feels a little bit depressing, a little bit deflated. It could relate to an area of your life where you're having problems. So putting good lighting in an area can really lift the energy. Another important area of the home that can affect us is the windows. And particularly in modern times, there's a trend to put in big patio doors to let in lots of light and to create an amazing view. And of course, that in itself can be a seemingly positive thing. However, depending on where big windows or patio doors fall in relation to the bagua, you need to take into account the fact that a lot of energy can then fly out of your home in that area. So for example, if you've put in big patio doors since living in your home and they are in the wealth or relationships area, that could be having a detrimental effect on your wealth or your relationships. So sometimes it's a good idea to either hang some voile curtains, net curtains at those windows, or hang a large faceted crystal in that area. And again, on my website, I've got some information about the best way to use those kind of crystals. So, areas of the home where energy can fly out too easily is a really important thing to look at. Now, obviously, that's just covering some of the aspects of the inside of a property, but the outside of your home is really important as well. And I will always look at the approach to your property, whether you have a driveway, a footpath, the condition of the front door, whether there's anything blocking the path to your property, how welcoming and well kept the property is, and particularly the front door. And it also affects you in Feng Shui, the surroundings. If there are large buildings opposite your home, or if there are homes which have sharp pointy roofs pointing at you, that again can be a negative. And of course, the main area of outside space that's of importance is the garden area. But I'm not going to get into that right now because that's a whole separate area. But the outside space is extremely important because, again, it affects us the whole time that we spend time in it. So that's just an introduction to how Feng Shui can help us, with a few little tips thrown in that you can do to help yourself. And I'll be moving on in more detail with further tips in my future videos. So I hope you found this helpful, and I will see you in the next video. Bye for now.